here is be engaged with youth, and be is spelled with a double E. Brasode, did you know about World Bee Day?
I never knew that we had a day dedicated for bees. Bees, come on, insects. It's a UN recognized day, by the way.
Yeah, so
must know it's not just something that is made up. The United Nations actually recognized the 20th of May as World Bee Day.
I don't know how to feel about it, because I feel there are things that need attention. But hey, they usually come to that conclusion based on something. So whatever it is, well, happy World Bee Day, I guess.
Well, it's not just about the bees. It's about ecological conservation. It's also about going back to nature, going back to environment.
Okay.
It's all about preservation of the environment. Of course, the UN is very concerned about preserving environment all over the world. Of course, that there is now a world consciousness on going green, returning back to nature.
Yeah.
We know the kind of damage that industrialization has brought to nature. And there's a conscious effort now to repair, if possible, the damage that development and industrialization has caused on nature. So when you pick out bee to celebrate a day for bees, and you now begin to look at the importance and what bees contribute to the environment.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually because of the importance of what bees do, what they contribute to the environment. So they had to pick a day to celebrate the almighty bee.
Okay.
For their contribution to
well,
maintaining and preserving nature.
When you put it like that, it's easier to see, the validity of the commemoration. Yeah. But let's hear from the beekeeper, what he said about starting a bee farm.
So we do a visibility check to see how feasible it is for the bees to manage that habitat, because we are removing them from their wild habitat to an enclosed place to see that they survive. So it has to be almost similar to their wild habitat. So we bait the hive. That is, we use the royal jelly or honey to bait the hive. Then that calls them to the hive. If you want one hive, I'm sure with 30,000 less, depending on your location, for everything to get the plank and also the iron rods that we use to stand there.
All right, that's interesting. And the youths who spoke about their interest in bee farming, this is what they had to say.
I will be interested in bee farming. Yes, this is because it is a profitable venture where you can start modern bee farming with a minimum amount of money and grow very fast.
I can never be interested in that kind of thing. Beekeeping or bee farming. Jeez, I will get stinks for real. I will not do that kind of thing.
I will be interested in bee farming or beekeeping because bees are honey makers, and we know that honey is a natural sweetener and is something that is in very high demand, not just in Nigeria but throughout the world. Everybody needs honey.
I'm very much interested actually in bee farming, beekeeping, anything to make sure that bee is preserved.
I don't want to make this a gender war, but the only woman who spoke not interested. All the men are interested.
No, I think what we should look at is the import of the bee day celebration. It's not so much about the economic importance of keeping bees. The first world renowned beekeeper who existed in the 16th century.
Wow.
Was Anson Jansa. So he was the one who was first known to have domesticated bees and kept bees for a trade, for purposes of extracting the honey that we all know. The usefulness of honey, are so numerous. But what is most important and why UN decided to pick the bee to celebrate is, like I said, for purposes of conservation of the environment. The bee is noted for the activity of helping pollination of plants. Of course, these days, even the governments all over the world, they tell you to plant trees, to grow green, to grow plants around. If you go to China, you see some very tall skyscrapers. On top of it, you see greens, plants on top. In fact, there are some countries where it's a law that in every 100 square meter there must be a tree and plants around. So what the bee does is to aid pollination.
Yeah.
Pollination, of course, is the equivalent of reproduction in animals. Okay. It is what helps in fertilizing plants and crops.
Okay.
To help in populating agriculture, populating plants on Earth. So the bee plays that vital role. Not just the bees, you have other animals like birds and other insects, but the bee was picked out because the bee has been known to aid pollination faster than every other insect.
Okay.
And so when we are preaching going green, we are preaching going back to nature. We are preaching, trying to help to curb the what they call this ultraviolet ray. Of course, it is the bee that will help in that future we are trying to go back to. It's a future that has to do with the past. We are trying to go back to the past, which is our new future.
The plenty relevance that Barrister Ode is giving to bees. I want to look at it differently. But I'm glad we've gotten some history lessons. We've seen the importance of bees to the ecosystem. We're coming to terms with all of this. I'm wondering what his thoughts will be on the next day that will follow this one. Now, this week, we also had International Tea Day. Yes, tea, the one you drink. Yeah. It's observed annually on May 21, according to United Nations. The concerning resolution was adopted on December 21 in 2019. The day is devoted to recognizing the contributions of the tea industry, promoting fair trade and investment in the area. International Tea Day includes giving recognition to tea and the people who work in that business. So, Barrister Ode, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one.
This conversation actually started in 2015.
Oh.
About although it has been discussed in so many fora, but this particular year it had to do with the involvement of women.
Okay.
In the tea industry.
So the year women got involved, we started talking about it. That's quite balanced. So, UN, well done.
The research the UN came up with was that women have the highest population in terms of production and distribution of tea all around the world. So is the highest employer of women folk. So of course, women, we are I don't know why, but annually we have different days to celebrate women.
Yeah.
We have Mother's Day almost 2 or 3 times in a year. We have Mother's Day only once, and we have Women's Day in so many guise, in so many forms. This year's International Tea Day is also another way of celebrating the women folk for their contribution in the tea industry.
Okay.
So basically it underscores the importance of tea. Of course, you have tea, you have coffee. And recently, that the pharmaceutical companies, the research that came out has shown that most of these ailments like high blood pressure, diabetes, which has claimed lots of human life all around the world, most of these things can actually be treated with natural remedies.
Yeah.
And some of these natural remedies, majority of them have tea components in them.
Interesting.
Like oregano leaves, which can be taken as tea, cinnamon, which can also be taken as tea, and so many green varieties, so many tea varieties. So these things are things that affects our lives and productivity, and the center of this are women behind it. So if you go to most tea farms across the world, you see a larger population of women in the fields.
I'm glad you're taking that route while talking about tea, which is, the natural, exactly what it is, the leaves and all of that. Because if you say tea to a Nigerian, they're not thinking cinnamon. We know what our tea looks and feels like. But yes, we had World Tea Day this year. And this story, I'm glad it falls well within the purview of my guest because he's a legal practitioner. A bill seeking to revert the old Nigerian national anthem has passed a second reading at the Senate. The bill seeks to replace the current national anthem, which is Arise, O Compatriots, which I'm certain you and I know, with the former one, which was adopted on Independence Day on the 1st of October 1960, and it was dropped in 1978 by the then military administration of Olusegun Obasanjo. It was first read during plenary on Thursday and passed for first and second readings after most senators supported it when the Senate President Godswill Akpabio put it to vote. So our former anthem is called Nigeria We Hail Thee. Our current anthem is Arise, O Compatriots. Now they are saying we should change it. I'm not quite sure what the reason behind this was, but if you have not heard the former anthem or you just need a reminder, this is what it sounds like.
To the Nigerian national anthem, Mr. Albert Congo raises the flag of the new nation.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
All right, so it has a second and third stanza, but that's what we will take. So if this bill becomes an act, this is what your kids will sing in school. This is what will begin most official events where they say, let's sing the national anthem. That is what you will be at one, and it will replace Arise, O Compatriots. Your thoughts on this, Barrister Ode?
Well, the need to change, to revert back to, we just talked about the world is trying to go back. We've gone so far and we've seen how we've fared with what we thought was the right way of living, and we are trying to go back to the past to see if we can collect some things from the past to help us to chart a better course forward. Now, if you look at the former national anthem, compared to what we presently have, you will agree with me that what we so much desire in this country is found in the old national anthem, which is national unity and cohesion.
Really?
And patriotism. Yeah. There's that part of that anthem which talks about those tribes and tongues may differ, but in brotherhood we stand.
Yeah.
We have been so polarized by tribal sentiments and religious differences in this country, and that has been our greatest undoing. All right. We find these differences in every sphere of life. In the political arena, people make choices based on this now our own. Even in a state like Rivers State, you hear these people say, it's Ogoniton, it's Andoniton, it's Calabariton, it is Ikwiriton, it is Ichiton, and so on and so forth. And that has actually not helped us. The schism and the disunity has not done us good.
Yeah, but Barrister, what part did the lyrics of the anthem play to that? Even in the one we have now, Arise, Your Compatriots, there are lines that refer to the unity of the country. One nation bound in freedom, peace, and unity. So if we're looking at that line, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand, which of course is a unifying. We also have something that points in the direction of unity with our current.
You that if you look at the wordings of the lyrics of the other old song, compared to this one is more superficial. The other one is more, should I say, touching. It touches on your consciousness more than what we have currently. So the difference is in the consciousness of the lyrics, and not just in the superficial, way of doing things.
And if those with the power, the will to make the change, do nothing about it. Let's say we change this national anthem, we revert to, and things don't physically change. What difference would it make? We have a break coming up, by the way.
Well, like we said, it begins with the consciousness. The truth is that we sing these songs and a lot of people don't even take the lyrics to heart.
Oh my!
If you watch when the American national anthem is being sung in any arena, you see people crying. you see, because the passion, they sing it with a meaning.
It's difficult for me to be moved by American tears, but I get the point. So after the break, I'll open the phone lines and you tell me what you think about it. Please stay with us. the front page and 92.3 Nigeria. Sam Orakuchinedu here. My guest, Barrister Eugene Ode, is still right here with me. You're welcome once again, sir.
Thank you. Welcome back.
All right, just before the break, we talked about the move by our lawmakers to revert to the old national anthem. What are your thoughts on this? Barrister Ode says that one embodies the concept of unity better than the one we have now. You know,
brotherliness.
It's more unifying.
Yeah.
And the line he's referring to is from the first stanza, though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand.
Brotherhood we stand.
So, he says it's a move in the right direction. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. 08179230002. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, the Oracle Chinedu.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guest in the studio, Mr. Ode.
Good morning.
Okwando Obina is my name.
All right.
I think over time, majority of our leaders have demonstrated that they don't know what it takes to move our nation forward. Hence, the House of Representatives telling us that we need to refer to the old national anthem. How will the old national anthem put food in the table? How will it stop corruption in government offices? As a matter of fact, I put it to you that majority of the House of Representative members don't even know how to recite the old national anthem of the new one.
No, now. Those are our lawmakers. They should know.
My brother, it has happened many times. Government appointees don't even know how to recite the national anthem. So what am I saying? That it is not in what is the national anthem that is our problem. How many times have they told us that the Port Harcourt refinery will start? They will say it's next month. They have even postponed it to indefinite. I think that our lawmakers should think out of the box. Why is it that our national the refinery cannot work? Why is it that majority of Nigerians are unemployed? Poverty everywhere. For me, I think the problem is not the national anthem. That is my take this morning. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, good morning. No, my. Well, call back if you can. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chinedu.
Good morning. What's your name?
And to the guests in the studio.
Good morning.
I'm Good Luck calling from Andoni.
All right, go ahead. Good luck.
You can say that our leaders, the House of Representatives, and the rest of them, as if they are just trying to divert attention. You know, it's like when a mother who is just feeding the child, when the breast milk is there to feed the child with, she's just trying to play a prank with the child in order not to breastfeed the child. Then what do you want to do with the breast milk is the question. There is all it takes to cater for the needs of this country. I don't know whether they visited the CIA who told them that the problem is the national anthem. Can the CIA tell them that we need refinery, that our education needs to be fixed up, our health, that our technological system, the insecurity there? I don't know. Imagine the cost of gas, fuel, even kerosene itself, we can't even see it, except this fire one. They are just, I don't really understand. If they are not capable of taking care of this country, I think the better idea is if they can give it to the upcoming youth, they should send the country now to a country like China who can manage it very well for them. I don't understand what
I don't understand. Wait.
To siphon our money.
No, wait. Hold on. I understand your grievance, your displeasure, but come on, sell us to another slavery. No, now. No, please. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, the very distinguished Sam Orakuchine. How are you doing this morning?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I salute our guest in the studio.
Good morning.
I remain the very distinguished Temple Okere. Oracle, I celebrate you guys and wish you guys a very pleasant weekend.
Thank you very much.
This issue of we reversing to the old national anthem, will it help us that if we go to the bank now our small money with the inside bank, we can be able to get it. Will it help us? Because we could imagine a situation whereby the bank doesn't have money, but the POS in front of the bank will give you money. At the end of the day, the money they give you is what you use in settling them back. Is that a problem to us? How does that, referring back to the old national anthem, solve our immediate problems as it stands now? Look at the high cost of petrol. What baffles me is that these people that lack visions and direction are being paid with our taxpayers' money. Just within the confines of the house there, it's been what I call jamboree. Something that does not even bring anything, any shit inside the confines of this country. What are we talking about? Is the anthem, is it the problem of this country? Or probably the levels of our heroes party in that particular clause is disturbing them because they are not living up to the expectation. Is that the issue? Because already they have failed the heroes that built this country. The founding fathers of this country, they have failed them woefully. How does that, the refinery bring this issue, that anthem, bring the issue of refinery so that we can get, look at a bottle of kerosene. The kerosene will normally, a bottle that is 2,000 naira. A bottle is 2,000 naira. And somebody is within the confines of the house. It is on level of nuisance. It's very unfortunate. Thank you.
Nice idea.
Well, those questions are valid questions.
Yeah.
The thing is, the answers, if you look at the lyrics of this anthem, the answers could be found there. The reason why we have not been able to take flight as a nation since 1960 up till now is because an average Nigerian thinks individualistic. We have very wealthy Nigerians in a poor Nigeria. That has been our problem. Why do people think of themselves alone? What is the motivation in going into public service? People who aspire to be political leaders, why are they self-centered? And they think of their family first. If you watch, most of these people have their families abroad, even while the country is boiling. They make money from this country, take it to other parts of the world, develop those societies at the expense of their own society, their own country. You don't see this in China. You don't see this in other parts. You don't see an American making money from America coming to Nigeria to invest. You don't see a European making money in his country and then coming to Nigeria to buy real estate, to buy properties, to develop the economy of this country. It doesn't work that way outside. It is only in Nigeria where people make money from Nigeria, take it outside and develop other countries. The reason is because an average Nigerian think Nigeria. You think yourself first, and then you think your family, and then you think your neighborhood, and then you think your community before you begin to think about Nigeria. And so to be able to stamp that consciousness of Nigeria in every Nigerian is for us to begin to see how to bind this country together to drive the consciousness of Nigeria in Nigerians. And it has proved a failure. So I think this one now will make people to begin to go back to read, because if you look at the lyrics, they sound like words of covenants with your nation. You understand? They sound like a commitment. It's
a pact.
A pact with your country.
Yeah.
It exudes, it brings out the patriotism and loyalty to your country first, before even yourself.
We have to move on. There are many more things to cover, but sharing the sentiments of some of our callers, the minority leader of the House of Reps, Kingsley Chinda, says the old national anthem should not be a thing of priority to Nigerians. Mr. Chinda made the position known while debating on the bill to adopt the old anthem. Mr. Chinda said the old anthem was composed by colonialists and adopting it would mean going back. Despite opposition, the bill was passed to several readings. Now, some Port Harcourt residents question the relevance of the bill seeking to replace the current anthem. Speaking to our correspondents, some describe the move as misplaced priority. We'll take that very quickly and head to our next story.
It's not the problem that we are facing. The problem that they should bring things down. They should make our refinery working and bring the price of fuel down. National anthem will not solve anything.
They say now because of that way Nigeria they bad on what?
I wouldn't know why our lawmakers, whom we have elected to represent us, to hold government accountable in some policies and decisions of government, is a mockery to our sensitivity as a country. This should not go through.
You can never tell. I think reverting to the old national anthem may strengthen the naira and can ensure a change to the overall economy.
Let the national anthem be as it be before.
I don't know that we have an old national anthem. I'm just hearing this for the first time. I don't think we should be going backward.
The one that we are using now, let's continue to use it.
Okay, I like the girl's honesty. She had no idea there was something before this one.
So that tells you that there is need for us to drive this thing in the consciousness of every Nigerian. Have you heard when South Africans sing their national anthem? You see the emotions in whatever arena they sing the national anthem. You see how they break down in tears, and it's like a passionate experience that they have for their country.
Every couple of years at Nations Cup, we see the players, on the field when the national anthem is played. So yeah, I've seen that happen. But
in Nigeria, you don't see that because we don't believe in Nigeria.
But okay. A lot of
Nigerians don't believe in Nigeria. To go further. A lot of people have lost faith in Nigeria. So if we begin to change our attitude by understanding these lyrics in the songs we have chosen as our national anthem, and believe and operate within that the spirit,
okay,
and the intent of the composers of that song, I'm telling you, the attitude, the change in attitude will ultimately affect these other questions, answer these other questions that the callers have been making.
Moving on, the federal government has banned social vices, money ritual killing, and smoking scenes in movies, music videos, and skits in Nigeria. Yes, indeed. The news agency of Nigeria reports that the executive director and CEO of National Film and Video Centers Board, Shaibu Hussaini, disclosed this at a national stakeholder engagement on smoke-free Nollywood held in Enugu. The event was organized by NFVCB and Corporate Accountability and Public Participation. Movie producers, directors, and actors drawn from different parts of the country, as well as leaders of various guilds and associations in the film industry. So he said we're facing an industry emergency requiring bold and ambitious actions. So, ritual killing, smoking has been banned from Nollywood films and content on social media. Very quickly, your take.
Movies and skits and songs play a very important role in character formation in the society. Now, I think this ban is long overdue. I'm speaking as a lawyer and the one who works in law enforcement and all that. If you come to court on a daily basis, it will amaze you the kind of things we are faced with. If you go to the police station, come to the court, see how our society has degenerated, and you begin to ask yourself what could be the root cause of this, where people believe that you can take somebody's heart, you can actually decapitate a human being, disintegrate his body, and that will bring you some fortune. Without that, there's no scientific explanation to these things, and we have ritual killings going on daily basis. Okay, people kidnap children, take them to the forest, and decapitate these children, give their organs. Not like what we hear that they sell organs. If you travel the trans-Saharan desert to you hear that a lot of organ trafficking is going on along that route.
The organ black market.
Yes, they take out the organs to sell, to those who are in need. But in Nigeria, that is not what you see. What you see is that they take out these organs not for purposes of trading in them. They take them for purposes of rituals, believing that when they take the private parts of a female or the private part of a male, they go to one babalawo and they do some invocation. You begin to have money, you begin to experience wealth. Now, if you go to check the root cause of this belief and why people fall so easily to this kind of things, is because you see it in Nollywood, you see it
mainstream
in mainstream Nollywood movies. where somebody comes from the village, he goes to the city, he's introduced into a cult, and in the cult they tell you, bring your father, bring your mother, and when you do it, a case in point is that first Nollywood movie where you have living in bondage.
Living in bondage, yeah.
You understand? And so many other movies have adapted that
to those themes.
Yes, those themes, and it now started looking like, oh, it is true. It could be real. And so people come out in real life and then begin to position themselves like that and say, look, that thing you saw in that movie, I can do it. I can make it possible for you.
We have
and Nigerians
careers.
are very gullible, and you see a lot of them falling prey to these things.
We have careers that have been shaped around ritual killing. Kanayo.
Exactly.
A lot of people refer to him in the
real life. Yeah, they look at him in real life as
the characters
like that.
The characters he has played, which have a lot to do with
ritual
killing.
That is the thing. That is why this underscores the need for the government to step in to say, look, there has to be a value reorientation. There has to be a change in a paradigm, so that people don't get bombarded with this false information in the form of movies and all that, and then it now begins to affect our daily lives outside in real life.
Okay, Barisawode, very quickly as well. I want to take calls, but I'd like us to cover this. Lagos State says over the past year, at least 70 men have suffered domestic violence carried out by their wives. The State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Cecilia Dada, said this. She said the ministry recorded 662 cases of sexual violence. 70 recorded in 1 year were men who were violated, beaten, assaulted by their wives. Now, these are the figures for Lagos. Maybe we need to also get some data to know what it's in Rivers State. But violence against men, domestic violence, your thoughts, quickly.
Well, there's a law, there's an enactment of the National Assembly against violence against persons. The VAP Act of, I think, 2019 or so. This act was enacted to deal with incessant cases of domestic violence. You understand? And it didn't make it... even though people erroneously think that law was made to protect violence against women. Because women have been the ones who speak against this thing more than men.
In fact, if you say gender-based violence, people just imagine it's women.
Yes, once you say gender-based violence, they just think that because
it's women.
Women are weaker, they call themselves weaker vessels, but in the real sense of it, they are not really as weak as they portray themselves to be. And the nature of man is to protect a woman. So it becomes very strange when a woman is now the one who is on the other side, the attacking side. It's shocking. Most men's reaction when they are being attacked by a woman is like, what the hell is? So that shock puts you in a position where you become powerless. Like, what do I do in a situation like this? Like fighting a child. You understand? The child kicks you, and then you begin to look at yourself, you look at the child. If I descend on this child with the kind of power that I have, there's no explanation that I can give to anybody who did not witness the provocation. That would make sense. So you see, men just naturally decide to take this pain and say, look, no problem. I'm not going to release the powers I have on you, whether in Daboski or...
Well, while I understand the position, we still cannot deny that there are women who are actually stronger than men. In some cases, it's not actually the man letting the woman. It might actually be a man being overpowered. And to put this in context, the cases of violence against women is still higher. From this particular data, they recorded 662 cases. Out of this 70. So that tells you women are still in the receiving end. But 70 is based on their own standards of violence against men. It's high. So they're asking questions. What's going on? All right. We don't have a lot of time. I will take calls. Barisawode will shortly respond to the economic summit which happened this week and how that will affect the common man. That happens to be you and I. But I'd like to hear from you. 0817-923-0002. We've talked about the commemorations, World Bee Day, International Tea Day. We've talked about the move by the House of Assembly, the legislature rather, both houses, reverting to the old national anthem. We have talked about Nollywood banning ritual killing, smoking, and now violence against men. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is Eugene. I'm calling from Amaba.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I thank you for your hard working and in the last word you have talking about the national anthem. See, if you put Michael Wade dictionary and find out the meaning of Niger, you know that name Niger is affecting us negatively.
Oh, really?
So if they have to change the narrative through that way, okay.
So
but
we should...
in this very movie, something it's overdue.
Okay.
Like the government that control supposed to feed from God, they are feeding from the poor ones. Why the poor ones supposed to feed from the government? Why government feed from God?
Government feed from God. Okay. So you're saying we should change the name of the country, not just the anthem. That's interesting. Over to Facebook where we're live. Bakel John says, good morning, Sam. How is the old national anthem going to solve the numerous problems we're facing in the country? Is the reason we're paying sitting allowance. The politicians need help. And he says, happy birthday to me. Well, happy birthday to you. Okay, very quickly. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
Imam from Umukuta.
Okay.
Yes, government banning the Nollywood actors from showing ritual killing during their displays.
Yeah.
That is very good. But government should add more effort to set up monitoring teams. Because even before the Nollywood, we started to show that in their show, ritual killings has been from time immemorial. But since the national desire is to wipe it away, they should come up with more strategies.
Okay.
Then the aspect of about 17 men that reported of violence from their wives.
Yeah.
Men just keep quiet, just like as our guest has humbly said. You can't compare the strength of a man. So no woman that is stronger than a man. It's only when you remember, when you hit, somebody might die.
No. I don't agree with that. There are people, there are women. See all these women are pandiam. Don't play with them. We have that break come up, and I've seen that I can't make the most of my time. In a couple of sentences, the economic summit. Why was it important, and how will it affect us? Just 30 seconds.
Well, over the past 8 years, we had an administration that centered its policy drive on creating infrastructure, which wasn't a bad idea. And the whole of those 8 years were spent building flyovers, building roads, and building concrete. It's time for us to go back to the complete package, which is human capital development, creating of job opportunities for citizens, and opening the space for businesses to thrive, which is the essence of the economic summit.
We have to take that break now. When I return, I'll do the best with your messages. Please stay with us.
Wetin you dey find for Sokoto? E don dey your domot o. Unique Company Limited
Come back. I have seen that time has done what it's good at doing, and that is moving. Well, thank you very much, Bar Saudi, for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll have other opportunities for engagement.
Sure.
All right, that's it on today's episode of The Front Page. For the messages on WhatsApp, I'm taking that after the news. Join us next Saturday at 8 a.m. to catch the updates on the biggest stories making headlines for the week. Coming up next is the news around the world. Stay with us.
It's 9 o'clock.